What's going on, peeps? How's everybody doing? Mm. How's everybody doing? Mm. Sure, my eyes have been irritating the hell out of me today. Whew. Michael, not only do I read the YouTube comments sometimes, but I can even put them up on the screen like this. Isn't that pretty cool? I can even do tricks with them. I do try to read the YouTube comments and all the comments, but unfortunately, when it gets a little bit, of course, when it gets a little bit more hectic, I don't have the ability to just continually keep up. I have four different chats going on right now. You know what I'm saying? So I like to. This is always a good time. Like I always tell people, like if you want certain questions answered or certain whatever, this is always a good time to try to ask them. And as it gets a little busier, super chats are usually the best way to ask questions because those will stick out, and obviously I can see them, and then I always try to talk about those. Um, so yeah, which is the best way to get my questions. Who do I want to run in 2028? Oh, shoot. Whoa. Polly, why do I hear you? Who do I want to? I don't know. Y'all know who I like. Y'all know who I want to be president. Okay, I've been very clear about that. Alex, you missed the update of the lady call. Okay, so let me be very clear too. The people that the event that we ran yesterday is different from the caller we had on Friday. Those are different people. Okay? Those are different people. All right. But the one we did the event for yesterday, um, was doing good. Doing good. We're moving forward. I've already sent out the majority of what'll be going to them last night, and I'm already receiving receipts back on it being um, used for the kids, and I'm already seeing receipts and stuff for that. So I'm more than happy. I'm very happy. You know I love taking care of people. I'm freaking humanist to the max. The caller on Friday, I let's just say I made sure that the caller on Friday, both the callers on Friday, made sure they got money for formula and all that sort of stuff. But I haven't heard anything back from them specifically. But yeah. Um, so yeah, there. That's where we're at. That's where we're at. I will give you more updates as they come along. I'll tell you. Last night, I already got the receipts that a rental car has been purchased, and so we're already moving forward. I already know that bunk beds have been made or been ordered and set up. I know that, so we're moving forward. We're moving forward, and Ari and I will actually hopefully get to meet the kids coming up soon. I will not be posting a picture of that, obviously for their sake. But Ari and I will hopefully get to meet those kids very soon. So I think that's really awesome. Yeah, should be great stuff. And thank you guys so much. Yesterday was a blast. It was such a blast. I had so much fun, and I love doing that. Ryan, they're 8 and 10. 8 and 10. Oldest is a boy. Youngest is the girl. Younger is the girl. Yep, brother and sister. So, yeah, great stuff. Great stuff. Hafrican has just given me permission to do the podcast, y'all. That's actually what I was waiting on. I was waiting on Hafrican to give me permission. Thanks, bud. I appreciate you. I'm just playing, brother. How you doing, man? Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I really am. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Again, that was like our first time doing it. And that was fun. It was really fun. We are going to try to do some setup stuff. And try to get some more equipment so we can actually do it in the same room and like the same type of place, whatever. Forget, when we start taking guests, you'll be our first guest. How about that? We start bringing in people to do like interviews and stuff. You'll be our first one. Sound good? All right, y'all. As you guys are coming in, welcome in. If you guys are new here, we do have conversations. We have debates. We open up the phone lines and the multi-guest request box so we can talk to people on the other side because we don't like to sit in our echo chambers over here. We have a lot of fun doing that too. So hopefully, if you're new here, you stick around for a little bit. Hopefully you enjoy the show. I think you will. Okay. So thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate that. Make sure you guys are hitting that follow button, hitting that subscribe button, turning on your notifications if you've already subscribed. I mean, I just posted a video today. Who knew about that? Only the people that have their notifications on, I'm assuming. So make sure you guys have your notifications on, and you guys are checking out that stuff. I am trying to post some more videos and trying to keep things going like that. So I really, really appreciate y'all. But yeah, if you guys like support, also consider becoming members or paid subs. We have a lot of fun in our, in our sub member chat and Discord. I got it up right now, guys. I'm looking at somebody's back from vacation. Welcome back. So we have a lot of fun in those spaces and do all that sort of stuff too. Yeah, so welcome in. I really, really appreciate y'all. Thank you guys for being here. We're going to give it about another 30 seconds, maybe a minute or so, and we're going to open up these phone lines. I'm already seeing somebody calling in. And we're going to open up the multi-guest request button as soon as we get up to about 5,000 on a certain platform. A Cells said, hello, Polly. How are you doing? Thank you so much. Welcome over from the Purple app. I do appreciate you being in over there. We're starting to grow on that side too. That's great. I love it. This is just growth. We're just growing. I mean, the more that we're growing and stuff like that, the more it means that the things that we're doing are actually being felt and meaningful to people, and they're enjoying the content and they're enjoying, being part of this community and part of this space. And I love that. All right. So, yeah. So that's awesome. So again, if you guys want to join, make sure you follow and subscribe. If you want to join and be more of a part of our team, stuff like that, of course, members, subscribers, all that sort of stuff is also a great time. So really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. Well, does anyone call me Polly outside of here? No, I do have a name that people call me. Yeah, Tara, I don't know what's going on with that. Somebody was able to subscribe yesterday. It seems like people are able to subscribe, but gifting is being weird. But only it's being weird for Ari and I. It's very strange. So, yeah. So cool. All right. Well, let's see who's around. Yeah, TikTok be weird. TikTok is just weird sometimes. It's just strange. All right. Hello, how are you?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going well. How old are you?
How old am I?
Dude, if you're having a hard time with that question, we're gonna have a real rough time on this conversation.
Why? What do you mean?
How old are you?
I'm of age.
All right, cool. Well, then you can be of age someplace else. Have a good day. Dude, if we can't get past the opening question of how old are you, then we're going to have a really, really rough time on this live. Okay? It's going to be very, very difficult for us to move forward in conversation if we can't get past the first initial question, which is how old are you? Like, it's not even like we're not even to the difficult questions yet. Like, why did you vote for Trump? You know what I'm saying? We haven't even gotten to those parts yet. Hello, how are you? Hello? Are you there?
Yep.
Oh my goodness, you are a literal child. A literal child. That's okay. We'll get some more people out here. I appreciate y'all. Hello, how are you?
What's up, man?
Hi, how old are you?
30.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
Sorta, I guess. I mean, I'd rather him than another candidate that there was.
You'd rather him than another candidate than there was?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Rather
It's
him than Kamala or
insane.
Joe Biden, a different candidate.
Why would you rather have him over Kamala? Kamala. See, you got me saying it wrong. Kamala. You guys mispronounce her name so much. I think sometimes I just repeat it.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. I'm Republican. I could say it a few different ways if you like.
Why don't you just start with one? We'll go from there.
Sure, Republican is more based on Christian foundations, and I'm a Christian.
That's not true. What part of first of all, Donald Trump's not a conservative. Let's start there. Okay. And second of all, how does Donald Trump fit any Christian value?
I said Republican.
Well, we're not talking about Republicans, sir. If you were a real Republican, you wouldn't have voted for or supported Donald Trump. And I'm asking why you support Donald Trump. So I'm asking you how he fits any Christian values.
And it's the party that does, and he represents it.
No, he doesn't. How does Donald Trump represent the party?
It's just basic. Anti-abortion. I mean, you can start there.
Sure, let's start there. Let's start at the fact that the Bible gives instructions on how to give an abortion.
Okay.
So therefore, if the Bible gives instructions on how to give an abortion, then that would mean that being anti-abortion is not Christian.
I mean, I'm not going to pick one thing to just argue with you on. A lot of people interpret the Bible a variety of ways. Like there's preachers with tattoos, and then you got preachers that say tattoos aren't good. You got people who read one thing and come up with a whole bunch of different things. This really comes down to your personal relationship with God and what you believe. You can twist words any way you want, but you should know what's right and what isn't.
Okay, gotcha. So now it has nothing to do with religion and just simply your personal morals and personal interpretation of what you think a religion says, even though you specifically said that what the religion says isn't even objective. So it actually has nothing to do with Christianity or how Donald Trump fits into Christianity. It's just how you feel.
Sure.
Awesome. So why do you feel that Donald Trump
feel.
is a better president than Kamala Harris?
I like him. I think he's a stronger leader.
How?
Yeah. One thing that I just wanted to call in and say is I scrolled past your show a couple times and saw clips, and you're talking to people and you bring race into it, calling people racist. I'm mixed just like you.
Did I call you racist?
I think it's crazy. No, I just think it's.
And when did I bring in race?
Because when someone's white talking to you, you try to make them feel.
Sir,
bad
I don't
about
care
it.
whether you're white, black, or whatever. I
about
care whether you're an idiot or not.
switching
And so
and
far,
all that.
you're going based off one video I had about code switching. You do realize I was talking to a half white, half Mexican person about code switching, and then a half white, half black person about code switching.
It's
So at no
crazy.
point in
With all
time
these-
was I even talking to a white person about code switching.
Yeah, it's just people like you that make me sick.
No,
Like, you
sir.
think you
So
speak
you
on behalf
do
of
realize
all
you
lives.
said when I talk to white people about things like code switching, then I'm being racist. But you didn't even realize the fact that I wasn't even talking to a white person about code switching. I was talking to a Mexican dude and a black dude.
And I wish I just could. I wish Joe Biden could teach me how to look some stuff up on a laptop, but I'm black, so I can't. I'm not smart enough to do that, and I can figure out what.
Well, sir, I agree that you're not smart enough to probably do anything, but I don't think that has anything to do with your race. Oh, where'd you go? At least I agree with the not smart part. All right, we're going to move on to the next caller. I really appreciate that. Pixie, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. I really appreciate that. Said, have you found any additional info in the EO to make English the official language and what that means? Would it change interpreter services, for example, in healthcare solutions? I have not. I've been a failure, and I've been way too much into the Ukraine-Russia situation. And if you want me to be completely honest, Pixie, I totally forgot about it. If you want to be completely honest. And I'm sorry. But I will remember because you just had surgery and now I feel bad. I'm sorry, Pixie. I hope you're feeling better. I suck. I'm sorry. Hello, how are you?
Hey, how are you?
Thank you so much for the super chat though, Pixie. I really appreciate it. I'm doing well.
Again?
How old are you? Hello.
Yeah, I can't hear you well. Hello?
Hi.
Yeah. Hi.
Awesome. How old are you?
I'm 21 years old.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
Yes, I support Trump.
Why is that?
Why is that? Because I like his leadership skills.
All right. What leadership skills?
For example, that today all the European countries, their leaders came to America. That's a sign of leadership that you can bring all of them together. The people are busy if there's going to be a ceasefire or not in Ukraine.
Donald Trump didn't bring
Uh,
them here.
I think results about a
Hold on.
ceasefire is not.
Donald Trump didn't bring them here.
I know he didn't bring them here. He
You
didn't bring
said
anyone.
it's his leadership that brought them all here. That's not what happened. Zelensky got them all together
Yes, but why did they all come to America?
to fight against Donald Trump.
So they came basically to fight against Donald Trump.
Yes, exactly. They came here because Donald Trump is trying to lean more towards Russia, and the European leaders came to support Zelensky in the United States, not backing Putin and Russia and more backing Ukraine.
Why do you think that Donald Trump leans more towards Russia?
I don't care. What does that have to do with his leadership skills? His leadership skills didn't do anything. What leadership skills is he using?
He has leadership skills.
Which
That's a
ones?
fact. Which ones? That I told you just now. The fact that they all came here, they didn't came to fight with Biden. That there's a reason for that.
Because they didn't have to fight with Biden because Biden wasn't trying to side with Russia.
Because he didn't try to stop the war.
Of course, he tried to stop the war. The reason why the Europeans showed up is because Donald Trump is backing Russia and not Ukraine. Why would the European leaders come to fight against Biden if Biden was backing Ukraine?
I asked you already. Why do you think that Trump is backing Russia, and how did Biden stop to try to stop the war? Can you tell me that?
Yeah, he made multiple reach outs. He freaking was negotiating ceasefires, trying to negotiate peace deals, trying to freaking push Russia back. They used sanctions and all sorts of other things in order to try to to halt the Russian advance. He made sure that Ukraine had enough weapons in order to properly defend themselves, in order to stop that war. All of those things are things that Biden did. What has Donald Trump done to try to stop the war?
Basically,
what has Donald Trump done to try to stop the war?
He's doing talks.
He's doing talks. Well, they were doing talks under the Biden administration. So what is he doing different?
He was backing Ukraine. He wasn't doing talks.
He was trying to do talks while also backing Ukraine. You can do two things at one time.
No, he stopped all the connections with Russia. He tried to back Ukraine, and through that stop the war. But
he didn't
work.
stop all connections with Russia. He actually tried to negotiate with Russia, and Russia backstabbed him. And just like Russia's been backstabbing Donald Trump the entire time, the only difference is that when Donald Trump gets backstabbed, he just walks in and asks for more. And when Joe Biden did it, he actually, stood up on his own 2 feet.
He walks away, right? That's why I support Trump.
No, he stood up to him. I mean, if you're just cool with like simps, dude, that's fine. It's not a big deal to me, man. Some people are into that sort of thing.
Listen, I support Trump, as I said, because he has leadership skills, and
I'm still waiting for what leadership skills those are.
I told you already.
No, you didn't. You just keep saying that, the European leader showed up. But again, he didn't have the European leader show up, so that wasn't his leadership skills.
How about the border is safe?
The border is safe. All right, awesome. How is the border safe?
How's the border safe? How many illegal immigrants came through the past month?
We don't know that answer.
You don't know the answer?
No, no one knows that answer.
Okay. Do you know how many illegal immigrants came through in Biden's time?
Approximately 1.7 million.
Okay. Who was who had the job of protecting the border?
President Biden, Secretary Mayorkas.
No, who was appointed?
Congress. Lots of people have a job in protecting the border.
Did Kamala Harris was her job to was she appointed to control the border, make sure
No.
that no?
Nope.
Where did you see that?
Where did I see something that didn't happen? Here, I saw it in the place where it never happened. So therefore, it's impossible to see something that does not happen. But if you want me to just show you an article to show you that she was never the border czar, then that's pretty simple.
Can you bring that up?
Easily.
Okay, I'm watching you right now, so I can.
Yeah, it's gonna be a delay on that, bud. You can do this on your own.
Okay, just give me a minute.
Yeah, I don't want to give you a minute. I want to continue with the conversation.
Okay, so what do you have to say to the fact that Trump is actually doing talks? He spoke already with Putin. He spoke already with Zelensky, and Biden couldn't do that.
He spoke with both of them, actually.
Who spoke with both of them?
Biden.
Yeah, but why didn't Putin show him the respect that he showed for Trump?
He did show him the respect that he shows him way more respect than he shows for Trump. He calls Trump, tells him he's going to do something, and then just lies and does whatever the fuck he wants because he knows he can manipulate Trump.
What did he say that he's going to do and didn't do?
Yeah, Donald Trump literally was just on stage like 2 months ago and said, oh yeah, I'd be on the phone with Putin and he said he was going to stop firing on Ukraine and all this sort of stuff. And then I'd get off the phone and I would go and talk to Melania and I would tell Melania, I'd go, Melania, I had such a good conversation with Putin. He said he's going to stop the fighting and he's not going to fire on Ukraine anymore. And she would go, Donald, he's firing on Kiev right now. She's doing it right now. And I would go, oh my goodness, I thought we had a deal. I'm the art of the deal. I thought we had a deal that he was going to stop Ukraine, fighting against Ukraine immediately. He literally got on stage and said that.
But after all, Trump spoke to Putin, but he has demands. That's right?
Dude, what the fuck are you talking about?
Putin has demands. He's not going to stop the war just because Trump is asking him to.
Yeah, no shit.
Again?
What's your point?
My point is that if there is a war, there's nothing you can do to make sure that the war is ended. That's on Putin and Zelensky. They have to reach
no
a deal.
Shit.
So you tell me, how can a president that is not involved in the war stop the war?
Correct.
Okay. So the most that he can do is bring them together, try to do something. And when Biden was president,
sir, so did Biden. Okay? This is a ridiculous conversation, okay? And it's going to absolutely fucking nowhere, and I'm getting already just tired of hearing it. Okay? I'm already over walking and talking in circles with you. Okay? You're right. I don't expect the president of the United States to solve the war in Ukraine and Russia until that president says that he is going to stop the war between Ukraine and Russia. If Donald Trump had literally just said like, dude, freaking, it's not our fault, it's not our problem to stop the war. I really don't care if we stop the war or not. I'll support Ukraine and, in order to make sure they have their sovereignty, but it's not our job to stop a war because the only two people in this world that can stop this war is Zelensky and Putin. If Donald Trump had said that, I would have been like, you know what? At least he's being honest. Truthfully, I would have said, at least he's being honest. He's being straightforward. He's saying what he can do and he can't do. Right? But Donald Trump didn't say that. Donald Trump said, I'm going to end the war in less than 24 hours. Less than 24. I know Zelensky. I know Putin. I'm going to end the war in less than 24 hours. And honestly, it's not even going to take that long. Donald Trump said he was going to end the war in under 24 hours.
That's right.
It wasn't solved in under 24 hours. It's still not done. He said he was going to solve it. He did.
But he's still trying. At least he's still trying.
And they were trying the entire way through Biden's presidency also. Trying doesn't mean fuck all.
Do you see now a bigger chance that the war will stop? Because I see it.
Sir, the war was going to stop under Trump's presidency or whoever was freaking got elected under this presidency. The war wasn't going to go on for another 4 years, period.
Oh
Okay.
yeah. So do you think that if Kamala Harris was president, the war wasn't going to the war would stop, right?
I don't care if Kamala Harris was president, Donald Trump was president, my Australian Shepherd was president, literally Rupert, literally my stuffed animal could have been president, and the war would have ended somewhere within this presidency because it was going to stop within these 4 years. There was no way that either side could keep up the escalation for the next 4 years. It's
How
impossible.
so? Do you think how can a war stop if you keep on supporting one side, and if Ukraine has enough weapons to fight back? So basically, no one makes progress. How would the war stop?
Because neither side could sustain it.
Because both can sustain it,
No, they couldn't.
but they did, and they are
They
still.
did in the future?
They did until now. They are still.
Of
and
course
they
they
are
did
going-
until now. I didn't say they couldn't sustain it in the past. I said they could not sustain it in the future.
If your stuffed animal was president and he didn't take any actions because he couldn't, the war would never end.
I thought you just said that no president could stop the war.
I didn't say that. I said
You
that
actually
he
literally just said that no U.S. president could stop the war. If no U.S. president could stop the war, then why does it matter who the president is? Because none of them can stop the war.
Let me finish. I didn't say that no president can do something that will result to stop the war, but I said that no president can stop the war until they are not involved, but they can still stop the war through bringing peace, through bringing them.
Oh,
to
just
talk
through bringing
together.
peace. That's all we have to do.
That to
Man, why didn't any other president think of that? Man, we could have stopped all the wars like ever if we had just thought, all we have to do is just bring peace. Man, that would have been so much more effective. Why didn't I think of that? Man, that would have been great.
why didn't Biden stop the?
Yeah, why didn't Biden? Why haven't we just stopped every war ever by just just bringing peace? It just would. It's just so much easier if we could just stop all the wars by just bringing peace. That would make things so much better, dude. Dude, I am so over talking to you. This is a ridiculous conversation. I'm not going to continue it. For the brain cells of my freaking people watching this show, I'm not going to continue watching this. Yo, make sure you guys hit the follow button, hit that sub button. I really, really appreciate you. Make sure you turn on those notifications. If you'd like to support, make sure you send super chats, super thanks. I really appreciate that. Also, that really means a lot. Also, consider becoming a member or a subscriber. I appreciate that. Hello, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. How old are you?
I'm 27.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah, where are you from?
The UK?
Awesome. You still live in the UK?
Yes, I do.
Awesome. Have a wonderful day. Hello, how are you?
Hello.
Hi, how old are you?
27.
Awesome. You support Trump?
Yes.
Awesome. Why is that?
Tell me, you had just told the last caller the number of illegals that had crossed the border
No, I didn't.
under Biden. You did. You said 1.7 million.
That wasn't the number of people who had crossed. That was not what I was asked, and that's not what I answered.
Okay, what was your 1.7 million answer to?
That's the amount of undocumented immigrants that are now currently in the country that came in under the Biden administration.
How many came over under the Biden administration?
Came over or are in the country?
Correct. Came
No.
over.
Those are two
how many
different
people-
questions, sir. How many
Okay,
people cross
how
the
many people
border is
crossed
one number.
the border?
Because, sir, I don't really to be completely honest with you, sir, I don't really care about how many people cross the border.
That's the problem.
Well,
That's
hold
part
on,
of
sir.
The problem
Okay,
of
well, then
why
you can answer-
Democrats.
I'm not
No,
a Democrat. So let me ask you a question.
Well, whatever you
Well,
are.
hold on,
it doesn't
sir,
matter what
sir,
you are.
can I just
but
ask you a
you
question?
don't like facts.
No, I do like
why
facts.
Do you
I just
do
have a
this?
question.
You filibuster. You change the subject.
All right,
you
sir.
ask
Well, how about
questions,
this?
don't
You say
answer the
whatever you
question.
need to say, and then I'm going to ask my question. Go ahead.
How many people came across the border during Biden, and why do you not care?
Oh, am I okay to ask my question now?
Ask your question.
Awesome. Why do I care about the people that came across the border that were stopped, detained, deported, or allowed in legally in the United States?
How many people were deported under Biden?
I mean, shit, there was freaking 685,000 just in 2024.
Okay. Why do you not have a problem with illegal?
But sir,
immigrants coming across
you
the border?
didn't answer my question. I asked you why
go
do
ahead.
I care about the people
Yes.
that crossed the border that were
That's
apprehended?
exactly what I just asked you.
Listen. Listen to the
You're
whole
asking me
question.
the same question I
No,
just
I'm
asked
not.
you.
You need to listen to the whole question before you try to answer. Okay?
Go.
Awesome. Why do I care about the immigrants that crossed the border illegally, but then were detained, deported, arrested, or vetted and let in legally, or any of those things? Why do I care about that number? Why don't I just care about the amount of... Sir, I'm still in the middle of the question. Why don't I just concentrate my care on the people that came into the country and are here illegally?
That's exactly what I'm asking you. That's literally what I just asked you. You had said to the previous caller, I don't care about that number. So
Sir,
my question
no, I didn't. I said that to
was,
you.
why do you not care? No,
Because
you said
I
that to the
don't
last
care
caller.
about the people that were here, that came across the border, were stopped by Border Patrol and were deported, or came across the border illegally, then had a valid, a claim to asylum or refugee status or whatever, and then were vetted and allowed in the country legally. Those people don't mean anything. If you have an illegal border crossing that ends up in a legal vetted entry into the United States, then I don't care about that crossing because you're here legally, you're vetted, and you're here under U.S. law. My care,
we found common ground.
My care is about
There
the
you go.
people who are not vetted, who are in this country currently, who did not come in under any legal status. And that number is 1.7 million.
Okay, so we found common ground.
Well, a second ago, you just said all of these numbers I'm telling you right now were lies, and I just want to filibuster, and I just want to I don't have any facts. Apparently, I went from that to now common ground. Because this is all I was trying to say. Sir, that's all I was trying to say the entire time.
Okay, so you also had said something about Kamala Harris not being the border czar. Did Joe Biden never speak the words that Kamala Harris is the border czar during his presidency?
Correct.
Joe, you really are going to sit there and say that Joe Biden never once appointed her?
Never said the
did
words.
Mayorkas?
Never said
who
the word.
appointed her border czar?
No one. Because she was
that
never
just
the
came out of
border
thin
czar.
air?
No, it came out of Republican talking points.
You think that's what it was?
No, I know that's what it was.
Okay, so when the one time that she did go to the border and they were asking her questions and even told her straight to her face, you've been appointed the border czar, and she never tried to argue that fact.
Sir, just because you don't try to argue something, just not trying to argue something, just because you don't argue something doesn't make you that thing.
That's ridiculous.
Okay,
assertion.
sir, if you sit here and call me the Prince of Persia, okay? And I don't argue.
No. The difference is that one has
here's what's gonna happen.
a meaning
Here's
and
what's
one
gonna happen.
doesn't.
Here's what's gonna happen. Okay, I'm going to speak, and you're not gonna cut me off. Cool.
That should go both ways.
Yeah, it should. But anyways, you could sit up here and call me the Prince of Persia. Okay, if I don't argue with you that I'm the Prince of Persia, does that make me the Prince of Persia?
No, but
okay,
what if
awesome.
I called you something like, dude, hold on. What if I called you Hitler? Would you be offended by that?
No.
You wouldn't argue the fact that you
not in the slightest.
Okay, so if somebody came up to you and said, you have the same philosophy, you have the same ideals as Hitler does or Saddam Hussein does, you're not going to try and defend yourself and
not
say,
at all.
no, I don't. My point is,
I would
when
not.
You're put in an important role, an important position, and somebody tries to say that you're not that, or somebody does refer to you as that, you acknowledge that.
Yeah.
When you
you know what I would ask you about? You know what I would ask you, sir?
What's the implication
sir,
of
you know what I would ask you if you
Prince
said that to me?
Persia?
You know what I would ask you if you said that to me?
What?
What's your evidence?
Okay, what's the implication of being called the Prince of Persia?
So again, sir, what's your evidence that Joe Biden
or Secretary of
Sir, I'm not going down this fucking lane with you. She was never appointed the border czar by Joe Biden or Secretary Mayorkas. Period. That's the end of it. You can't just say that somebody called her that one time and she didn't argue it, so therefore she is that thing. Okay? She was not the border czar. She was never appointed the border czar. She can't even be appointed by the Secretary of Homeland Security. She would have to be appointed by Joe Biden. Was she given a task by Joe Biden that had to do with immigration? Absolutely she was. It had nothing to do with the southern border, and she sure as hell wasn't called the border czar.
Okay. What news source do you rely on? Do you believe the Associated Press at all? Do you believe
I don't believe
Politico?
anything. I don't believe anything unless I can back it.
Okay, so when they say President Joe Biden tasked Vice President Kamala Harris with leading the White House effort to address the immigration challenge at the U.S. border, March 2021, he specifically asked her to focus on working with Mexico and Central American nations,
especially the Northern Triangle and Northern Venezuela, in order to address the roots.
So what would that make her?
So in order to address, hold on, sir, I'm going to continue reading the article, even though I don't have it, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, to address the root causes of asylum in those countries, okay, in order to reduce asylum seeking in those countries. That's what the rest of your AP article says, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, sure.
Because that has to do with getting with the countries in Central America and Northern South America.
Did she do that?
Yes, she did, and I'm still in the middle of speaking again.
Okay.
Awesome. So yes,
you can interrupt and I can't.
All right, no, that's fine. I'll just mute you then. If you want to act like a child, I'll treat you like one. So anyways, yes, her exact job was to address the root causes of asylum seeking. That is not being a border czar. Okay, that is doing something that was tasked to her by the President of the United States to adjust a certain part of immigration. So literally, when I just said she was tasked by Joe Biden in order to have a specific role when it comes to immigration, but she was never appointed the border czar, that's the specific role I was talking about. So talking about the role that I just said is not a surprise to me, sir. I know what she was tasked with.
Biden stated that her past experience as California's AG made her well suited for the role. He also said that when she speaks for him, indicating her authority in leading the administration's response to border issues. Okay.
Yeah.
How
awesome.
well did
Can you
do
please
at
go
that?
ahead and read? Just keep reading that article until you get to the part where it says Joe Biden.
Dude.
No, sir. Go ahead and keep reading that article until you get to the part where it says Joe Biden appointed her the border czar.
I don't see that part, but I'll read the next paragraph. It's important to note that while Harris
No,
was
I don't
not
care about the
tasked
rest
with
of that,
addressing
sir. I can read the article myself. Okay, I would like you, and since you're so convinced that she was appointed the border czar, please go ahead and show me where in that article it says that Joe Biden appointed her the border czar.
Okay. If she didn't have the
no,
title
sir,
border
I don't
czar,
want to. I don't want your rhetoric.
Tell me where. And why
tell
are
me
you
where.
interrupting?
Tell me
I thought we
where.
made that
Tell
rule.
me where. Tell me where in the article it says she was appointed the border czar. That's all I want to hear from you.
Nowhere.
Nowhere.
So
where is your
article.
proof that she was appointed the border czar?
Because she was tasked with, what's the difference between being called a border czar and being tasked as a border czar? There's zero difference.
Well,
so
first of all, there
did
is
she
no
do
such thing as
with
a
her
border
task?
czar. So being tasked is something that didn't exist. Means literally
Okay,
nothing.
how well did she do?
She did great. She reduced asylum seeking by 50% at the southern border.
She did great.
Her policies and her
be
efforts
serious.
reduced asylum seeking in the United States by 50%.
And where did the other 50% end up?
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me be clear here. She was tasked with reducing asylum seeking. She reduced asylum seeking by 50%. And your response is, well, what about the other 50%?
Yes, that's a huge
so,
deal.
Gotcha. So if you were tasked, right, like with crime in New York City, right, and you said, hey, I want to task you with reducing theft in New York City, and you reduce theft at by 50% in New York City, you're saying that's a failure because you didn't completely eliminate it?
Yes.
Oh, so you're just a full idiot.
No. That has nothing to do with it.
So you're just a full idiot. Her job was to reduce asylum seeking, not to eliminate asylum seking, because you can't
what's the
eliminate
asylum seeking
asylum
number
seeking
right now? What's the number right
people
now?
trying to
What's
seek
the number
asylum?
of
There's
illegal
tons.
crossing? No.
It wasn't to reduce illegal crossings. It was to reduce the amount of people that were showing up to the border to seek asylum. And people are still coming up to the border to seek asylum to this day.
I see what you do is you change the subject.
No, sir, I
from
just
an
speak
important topic to
indirectly what
something
we're
that
talking
doesn't
about.
matter.
Instead of you trying to fucking try to make it about something else. You are trying so
Dude,
hard.
No, because it doesn't fucking
You are
matter what
trying
she
so
tried
hard.
to do.
You are trying so hard to make her the border czar, and you have no proof that she is.
It doesn't matter. Being the border czar or being called the border czar, there's no big difference.
Or being announced as the border czar, or the
failure.
fact that we don't have czars in this country to begin with,
Was
because
her
we've never
task a
had a
complete
singular
failure?
czar,
Yes.
because we've never had a czar in this entire fucking country.
You know that it's just a made up.
Maybe next
you know
president. Maybe if she comes, maybe next presidency, someone will appoint Kamala Harris. I don't know, the ruler of China or something. You know,
So tell me if remaining in Mexico
ruler
was good or
of the
bad.
Ottoman Empire. Well, maybe they'll
Was remain in
that.
Mexico good or bad?
Maybe they'll make her the Tooth Fairy.
Filibuster.
Maybe we'll
Filibuster.
make her the Tooth Fairy. Okay.
Does that make
next
okay,
next cycle we're
remain in
going to
Mexico
announce
good or
someone
bad?
the Tooth Fairy. It'll be
Good
great.
or bad? Remain in Mexico. What was it good or bad? Remain in Mexico.
Was it good or bad? It depends on
Yes.
good or bad is subjective. I
Okay.
think it's bad.
Did it? Oh, you think it's bad? Of course you think it's bad. Why would it not be bad, right? Tell me why you think it's bad.
Yeah, that's easy because I'm a humanist and I don't ever want to put people in harm's way.
Oh, so all the illegals coming over and killing our people is okay?
Remaining in Mexico had nothing to do with illegal immigration.
100% it
Sir,
did.
no, it did not.
100%.
It stopped asylum seekers from being able to get in the country. And since asylum seeking
Yes.
is legal, sir.
How many
All right,
asylum
I'll just mute you
seekers that
then.
were
That's
released
fine. And now you're muted again because you have to act like a child. So since asylum seeking is legal in the United States, asylum seeking is a legal process of entering the United States, and remain in Mexico only affected asylum seekers. So therefore, it only affected legal migration, not illegal migration.
How many asylum seekers came into the United States, were released with a promise to appear, and then committed crimes?
Oh, Jesus. Like almost like a negligible amount.
Negligible unless it affects you directly, right?
All right. Well, what's the number?
I don't know the number, but I know that it's a lot. Maybe not a lot in comparison to how many didn't, but I'm just telling you that should never
gotcha,
happen.
sir. So the number could literally be 0 and you don't know.
Come on. You know that
Okay.
it's not 0.
All right. Well, I'm
How
going to
many
go ahead
people
and
have
say
been
it's
murdered by
0.
this?
Prove me wrong. Name me
Okay, and I'm
name me
gonna
one
say
case.
200.
Sir. Cool. Name me one.
2,000.
Awesome. Cool. How about this? I'll give you one. Name me one murder that's happened in the United States by an asylum seeker. Go.
San Francisco.
San Francisco. Is that the person's name?
No, that's where it happened.
Okay.
San Francisco.
What's the
asylum
what's the name?
seeker.
What's the name of the person?
Oh, I don't remember. Come on. You
All right,
know
what's the name of the
story.
victim?
You just sit and play
What's the
like
name-
you don't
what's
know
the name of the
answer, and
victim?
therefore the answer doesn't
I have
exist.
no idea what you're talking about. What is the name of the perpetrator or the
The
name of the
girl
victim?
that got raped and murdered by the asylum seeker in
That
San
person wasn't an
Francisco.
asylum seeker. That person was here
100%.
illegally. No, it was not. They were here
100%
illegally.
asylum seeker. That was
They
on a
100%
promise
were
to
not.
appear.
No, that was a promise to appear for an undocumented migrant, not for an asylum seeker. Undocumented
Dude, look
migrants
it
can
up.
also have. I have looked it up. I know what you're talking about. You first hold on. A second ago, I act like you. I don't know what I'm talking about. Now I 100% know what you're talking about, and now you're telling me to go look it up.
Well, because you're
I
disagreeing with a
did
fact.
look it up.
It's a
It
fact.
100% was a notice of appear for an undocumented migrant. It was not an asylum seeker.
100% was an asylum
All right,
seeker.
awesome. Show me where I can find that.
Show me where it's not.
Okay,
Like
cool.
you play these little antics
Cool.
where you
Acha,
want me to
I will
prove
Google.
something.
Was it not? Was it not? Okay, cool. It says, was it not? Is a grammatically correct and formal way to phrase a question. It is less common alternative to wasn't it or it wasn't. The phrase is used to form a negative question, typically in a more formal or literary context. Awesome. So can you show
want
me
the-
where it was wasn't a asylum seeker? I'll wait. Thank you.
Okay.
Or are you just
Total
filibustering
criminal
this whole time?
convictions by type. Nope. I'm not filibustering at all.
All right, awesome.
In
So what was the name of the
2024
victim?
No.
No, what was the name of the victim?
I'm-
What was the
I'm
name of the
going to
victim or the?
Give you the numbers.
I don't need the
Let me
numbers.
give you
You
just
said
the
the
numbers.
person in San Francisco. That's what I want to hear.
That was just one example. There's
Then
a
I want
shit
that
ton
one
more, and you know
example,
there
sir.
is. I'm going to give you tons of them.
I don't want tons. I want that one.
Homicide, manslaughter, 2024. There was 29 of them. How
Ooh,
about illegal
29.
drug possession and human trafficking?
29.
There
How
was
many people sought asylum?
1,566 of them.
How many people sought
Dude,
asylum?
come on. Why do you act like
All right, awesome. How about
crime
this?
is
How about this?
acceptable?
I'll put up your stats for you. Where are you pulling these stats from?
This is from cbp.gov.
cbp.gov. And what's the name
Yep.
of the article?
This article is Criminal Alien Statistics.
Criminal alien
Arrest of
statistics.
individual.
Hold on. I don't need you to read it. I'm pulling it up.
Go ahead.
Awesome. Cool. Awesome.
Lots of big numbers there, huh?
Yeah, there's tons of big numbers. Yeah, I've read this a million times.
Yeah.
Can you show me on here where it says this is by asylum seekers?
Yeah, I will show you. Yep.
Awesome.
Why don't you read under where it says arrests of individuals with criminal convictions?
Yeah. Arrest of individuals on criminal convictions. The term referring to criminal aliens refers to individuals who have been convicted of one or more crimes within the United States, abroad, or prior to interdiction of the U.S. Border Patrol. It does not include convictions for conduct that is deemed criminal in the United States. Arrest of criminal aliens are a subset of a total apprehensions of the U.S. Border Patrol.
Yep, there you are. There.
Awesome.
There
So
it
where
is,
in there does it say about asylum seekers?
Oh, asylum seekers. Yeah, hold on. I literally just had it. Give me just a second. I will show you
Awesome.
right here. Hold on.
I would like that this guy just pulled up illegal immigrants after I literally just told him that that is what it is. Because literally the name of it is criminal alien statistics.
You know what happens in situations like this is that you act like one is not enough. Like, how many is too
Sir, you
many?
haven't proven one.
Like, I haven't proven one? How have I not proven one? I literally just gave you a source. Did you
You
look it
gave
up?
me the statistic of undocumented immigrants that committed crimes. You did not give me asylum seekers. So you haven't even proved one.
Hold on. It's coming.
Sir, how many people sought asylum under the Biden administration?
Good question. About 700,000 or something, 800,000 or something.
It was actually way more than that. I think it was around 2.6 million.
I don't know that that's accurate, but
it was about
I'll
2.6 million people.
True.
It was about 2.6 million people sought asylum under the Biden administration. Okay, if you have this hard, had to prove this hard to prove one singular violent crime that happened by asylum seekers, and look, let's be honest, okay? Any group of people, regardless of asylum seekers, whether they're here illegally, whether they're here legally, whether they're American citizens, whether they're not, all of those different statistics are going to prove at least one person or a small, tiny subset of people within those that commit crimes. Okay?
But if it's a
Hold on,
tiny
sir. I'm
subset,
still
why
talking.
is
No,
that?
sir. I'm talking. Be
No,
quiet.
you act like it's not important.
All right. Well, you go ahead and keep talking, and I'll just mute you. Literally, we are going to have a small subset. But the reason why people are able to seek asylum in the United States, okay, is because they're at fear for their lives. Okay? They're at fear for their lives, and they are trying to survive with them, their children, and all that sort of stuff. Okay? So if you have to fight this hard to find one person that committed a violent crime when it came to asylum seeking, and we were able to save 2.6 million people from possible death, from possible persecution, from possible torture, from possible all the horrible things that can happen to them. Okay? And because of that, there are certain people that break the rules inside of that. Okay? And that percentage is negligible. Okay? And I think at this point we're talking about like 0.000000001% or some shit. Something fucking absolutely crazy low. Okay? I am never, ever going to advocate for leaving people in danger, leaving people to be killed or persecuted or tortured or any of these other things because a small, tiny, negligible, like individual group of people of that group might be bad. That's what's called living in fear. Okay? That's what's called just being fearful of your entire surroundings. Because if you're going to do that, sir, I hope you don't ever drive. Because guess what? You might die during that car, driving your car during a car accident. You're actually freaking like 1,000 times more likely to die from being in a car accident than you are from freaking ever being even freaking having a non-violent crime committed on you by an undocumented immigrant. Okay? You're actually just walking down the street. You are 30 times more likely to have a violent crime committed on you by a freaking American citizen than you are by an undocumented immigrant. Okay? So I'm sorry that you choose to live in fear, sir. I just choose not to.
No, it's not me living in fear.
Yes, it is.
And here's what happened
is.
during this conversation.
Yes, it is.
I brought up a point.
I don't care. Just respond to what I said, sir. I really don't have it weirdly listen to you crying.
I agree with that. I agree with your sentiment of asylum seekers are okay to be here as long as they go through the natural or the legal process. I didn't bring up asylum seeking from the beginning. You did. I brought up illegal border crossings and the crime rate of illegal immigrants, and then you switched topics to asylum seekers.
No,
So
sir,
you
that's not the way
no,
that
no,
went
no.
at
You moved the
all.
goalpost.
No, sir.
100% it is.
No,
Play the
sir.
video back.
No, sir,
I
let me
was
go ahead
not
and
talking
sir,
about
I'm about to
asylum
hang up on you.
seekers
Be quiet.
exclusively. You
Sir,
know that's
you
true.
brought up, you cut me off and started yelling at me about the remain.
I haven't raised my voice once.
About the remain in Mexico policy. I said that the remain in Mexico policy only had to deal with asylum seekers in this country. Okay.
Correct.
And then you went off on the entire thing about crime and asylum seekers in this country. You did that. Okay. And it was brought up because of the policy that you brought up. So now you are trying to gaslight me and pretend like I brought this stuff up when you brought this stuff up. So either A, you're gaslighting me, or B, you're an idiot. One of the two. Okay. I don't know which one. Okay. But the only reason we started talking about asylum seeking is because you brought up remain in Mexico. And since a remain in Mexico only has to do with asylum seekers, that's the only way to bring that up. Okay. That's the only way that's even logical.
So are all people that choose to seek asylum, are they legitimate asylum seekers? Or
Absolutely
do some
not.
of them try and bypass the system?
Well, there's tons of them that try to bypass the system, but unfortunately about 60% of those people that try to do that are deported at the southern border.
Okay, and the other 40% are what?
Given court dates and then taken to court, and then we find out if they have a valid asylum claim.
And then what happens? When they don't show up to court, they just are on the run, and then they think that they can do whatever they want. You like
think that they can do whatever they want.
Here.
So you're saying,
I'm not saying they can do whatever they want.
So
no,
you think people that are literally freaking didn't show up to their asylum case for whatever fucking reason, and even though the large, for all sorts of reasons, dude, I don't know every single individual case, but the large majority of them, I believe it's like over 90% of them show up for their court dates. Okay,
90%. Tell me your source.
Oh, dude, you can pull it up. I think it's actually 80. I think it's actually 88%, if I'm correct, without a lawyer, and like 96% of people with lawyers show up for their asylum courts.
The source. I'm not just going to be like, bro, trust me.
Okay, well, you don't have to trust me at all. You don't even have to be here. I really don't care. You're actually pretty annoying.
I like being here.
I don't like you being here, so I don't really give a shit. Okay? But literally the overwhelming majority of people that seek asylum in this country, they show up to their court dates. And let's also remember the fact that their court dates are set 5, 6, 7 years down the road. And there's a ton of shit that could happen before that. Freaking that number of people that don't show up doesn't even count people that left the country, and that's why they didn't even show up. Okay?
You think that, okay. Yep. And where are you getting all of these facts from that you're citing?
Dude, I could pull it up. I could bring up immigration lawyers and have this whole freaking conversation if I really need to. Okay,
why do you give
it's
me
not important.
Shit for
why
having
haven't
the
you
same
looked it up?
answer that you have? Why do you give me shit for you?
Because,
giving you the
sir,
same
if I
answer
thought you were
me?
trying to actually have a good faith argument, I would have already brought it up and put it on the screen, but I don't believe you're trying to do that. Okay? And I'm not going to waste, I'm not going to let you sea lion me.
By you, I
am not going to let, I am not going to sit here.
Do it.
I am not going to sit here and be sea lion by you, by somebody who has tried to have a bad faith argument with me the entire fucking time, and then all of a sudden expects that I am going to fucking do your research for you. Okay? But you know,
I'm saying do your research on your own claims.
Just for fun, okay? Right here, boom. Just a nice little quick. No, I just typed it into Google. I'm not even going to pull up a source. I'm literally just going to type it into Google. What percent of asylum cases show up to court? A study based on governmental data spanning over a decade found that 83% of non-detained immigrants with completed or pending removal cases attended all of their court hearings. When asylum seekers were represented by a lawyer, this appearance rate wrote even higher, reaching 96% according to the same study. So I was slightly off. I said 88 and 95. It was actually 83 and 96.
Okay, there you go. 83%. What happens to the other 17?
Sir, the overwhelming majority are represented by a lawyer, and that lawyer is 96%.
Those are two different numbers. So what happens to the other 17% that are not with a lawyer?
A lot of them are not in the country anymore.
How do you know that?
Because we see the data that they aren't in the country anymore, which is why their cases were dismissed, which is why they didn't show up to court.
And then why is ICE... Why are they detaining so many of these asylum seekers or so many of these people that were supposed to show up to a court date and never did? Why is that happening?
I'm sorry, where do you have this data?
Dude, it's all over. Come on.
Awesome. So where can I find this data? You just made me pull up data. I pulled it up for you. Where's mine?
Let's go on Politico. You can go to Politico. Dude, it's
Sure.
all
What's the
over
name of the article on
media
Politico?
like crazy. Sure, I'm happy to do that for you.
All right, cool. Anyways, while this dude's trying to figure that out. Jeffrey Baker, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. I really, really appreciate that. And Tony Chan, I'm talking.
Oh, sorry.
Jesus, manners on people. Tony Chan said, Trump supporters equals everything but actual facts. Yeah, pretty standard. Exactly. But thank you, Tony, for the $5 super chat. I really appreciate that.
Look at that. I'm making you money, man.
No, you're not. You're actually losing me money. I'd be making a lot more money if I was not talking to you. I promise you that.
Of asylum seekers by immigration authorities. You want to know what the numbers are?
I'd like you to just tell me what the article is.
Okay. Reasons for arrest.
Reason for arrest by Politico?
Reasons for arrest by... Let me look. Hold on. Let me give you the link. Okay. OPB.org. Asylum seekers.
What is OPB.org?
I'm sorry. OPB.
What is OPB.org?
The one that you were just on.
What?
OPB. O Oscar P Paul B.
Oregon Public Broadcasting?
Said anything about Oregon. OPB.org.
OPB.org is Oregon Public Broadcasting.
Okay. What and the name of the article?
Okay, fuck it. Oh, he left. He left. I was ready to go. What the actual hell? Dude, I don't use Google AI as a source. That dude just was freaking whining, so I fucking threw up something for him to stop whining. I know AI is not Google AI is not a source, dude. There's 1,000 sources saying the amount of people that show up to asylum. Center for Immigration Studies has an amazing freaking source on how many, what percentage of asylum seekers actually show up to their court cases. Okay, I could pull up a source in 10 seconds if I really wanted to. Okay, you guys are ridiculous. Anyways, y'all, thank you guys so much for being here. Make sure y'all hit that follow button, that subscribe button. I really appreciate you. We do this every day. But Fridays, actually, now. It's changed from Thursdays to Fridays. We do this every day but Fridays. So and make sure you guys come hang out. I really, really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Also, if you'd like to support the live, like you've seen, I do like, if you guys send super chats, I throw them up on the screen. We talk about them and have fun. So if you'd like to support, that's a great way to do it. Also, I do have pay links in my bio. I appreciate that also. Also, and the most fun way to do it, to be completely honest with you, is to become a member or a sub. I know we're having some problems with some gifting subs over on TikTok, but on YouTube, if you'd like to gift memberships over there, that is a great way to support. It gets people into some cool spaces on the Discord. Makes people have the emotes, and it really helps people to become more of the team and help to support later on. So if you'd like to support that way, I really appreciate that also. Thank you.
Insane.
Hello, how are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm good. How old are you?
44.
44?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Why is that?
Why is that? Because I believe he's the best president in the last 60 years.
Last 60 years? And how's he the best president in the last 60 years?
Because he's the one that actually believes and knows how to fix this country.
And what's that? How's he fixing the country?
He's closing the border. He's fixing the economy. He's doing everything right that Joe Biden did wrong.
Yeah, but you didn't say Joe Biden. You said in the last 60 years. So how's he fixing the economy? We have, was it, oh my goodness, I forgot. Anyways, we have inflation rising. We have wholesale prices rising. We have... we have all those things rising. How is that? Unemployment's rising. Job creation is super low. How are we fixing the economy?
Negative. Inflation's lowering.
It's
Jobs are going up. Good jobs, not the 88,000 they made for the IRS. Yeah, that makes the job numbers come lower. But the actual jobs for the American people, not the government. I understand you're probably big government, but for small government, get rid of those people, and that affects the jobs numbers.
Dude, what are you talking about? It was like a 15,000 job creation in May and June, and like a 73,000 job creation in July, which are like record low numbers since COVID.
Record low numbers since COVID.
Yeah.
So COVID made better job numbers?
No, COVID shut down the economy, so we had record low numbers, and these are the worst ones since we shut it down.
Yeah, because he's steady cutting out the government, the big government, which socialists like, Democrats like, which you said you weren't a Democrat, right?
What are you fucking talking? Donald Trump has record high government spending.
No, government spending on what? Not government jobs,
On all sorts of things, but specifically on things like ICE is a big one.
Yeah, we need them.
Oh, so now you're big government.
No. Once we get all the people who aren't supposed to be in the government out, in the country out, then we won't need that big of a.
Gotcha. So you're big government as long as you like what the government is doing, and you're small government besides that.
Yeah, whenever you need a big military to fight off your enemies, then use that, and then you can whittle it down when you're not in a war.
We're not in a war.
Yeah, no, we're not in a war, and I'm not.
Then why are we raising the defense budget?
Oh, because we need to be ready for whatever comes.
Gotcha. So you're big government. So you're a socialist.
No, I'm not a socialist.
Well, sir, you're the one. I'm arguing for a smaller government, and you're arguing for a bigger one. And you said arguing for big government is socialist. So I think that makes you a socialist, sir.
No, son. You think wrong because you want.
How old did you say you were?
44, son.
44. Why do you sound 16 and 85 all at the same time?
I guess because I smoke. I don't know.
What are you smoking?
Cigarettes.
Oh, thought it was crack.
What? Thought it was crack. Oh, nice segue. Yeah. Anyway, all right. Now, you got anything serious to talk about? What do you want to know? Don't hang up on me now.
I just can't. I'm sorry. I can't. I'm sorry. I gotta move on to the next caller. I really appreciate y'all. Tim, thank you so much. Tim said, listening to these people is making me lose my brain cells. I don't know how you do it, man. Hey, I try my best over here. And Jen, thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships. I really appreciate that. Make sure you send a W to Jen if you just got one of those gifteds. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Hello. Thank you so much, Jen. Big W's for Jen. Hello, how are you?
Hey, good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How old are you?
32.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
I do support Trump, yes.
Awesome. Why is that?
So I don't have any statistics or data, but I'm not a huge, giant Trump supporter, and I'm not a scholar when it comes to politics. But from what I see with my own eyes, I feel safe with him being our president. From what I see, he's a strong leader. He creates relationships with other leaders. As far as the economy, I can't really argue on that. But based on what I see, I feel like he's a strong leader, one of the strongest leaders that we've ever had.
Yeah, so how is he a strong leader? That's my question. How is he a strong leader? I know you said foreign relationships. Do you believe that his meeting with Putin was Donald Trump being a strong leader?
It's stronger than not meeting with them, yeah.
Absolutely no, it's not. Actually, Putin has been begging to meet with Western leaders for years. Okay. And Western leaders have been strong and made sure they did not meet with him, because meeting with him legitimizes his stance, right? It props up his propaganda, right? It makes Putin's stance stronger in the world, right? And us and all of our allies have decided is that we're not going to talk to Putin until Putin stops killing innocent Ukrainians, okay? And so, no, it is not a strong stance to meet with Putin. It actually helps Putin. Putin could not have possibly lost in that entire stance, right? So, no, this was not a strong move. This wasn't from strong leadership. Biden could have met with Putin, just Putin, any time during his presidency. He was strong and didn't.
Well, who did he meet with? And not only that, but what did he what did you ever see from Biden? I mean, he didn't go on TV or anything ever. He didn't. When he made a speech that was written by somebody else, he would just turn around and walk off like a Roomba. Walk this way, walk that way. He wouldn't answer any questions from the press.
Sir, I'm sorry. Are you asking me to hold on, sir? But you're talking about Biden as if I'm here to defend Biden.
I'm not. All right, I'm moving on though.
I know, but I don't want you to move on. I want
to. You talk.
Well, sir, you're moving on to you're moving on to the next point. I want to address that one, and then I'll let you move on to the next point.
Okay, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah. So you're talking about Biden freaking, that saying his speech and then moving on. You're right. He should have probably been more media facing. I agree with you on that. Okay. He should have been more media facing. All right. This is probably a good reason why we shouldn't have 80-year-olds as president. All right. At that same time,
agreed,
sir, I'm trying to agree with you a bit. So just let me go. At the same time, saying that somebody getting on stage and just yelling unhinged shit is somehow better, it's not.
Yeah, there's always going to be the negatives with everybody. Nobody's going to be perfect. But also another thing that I see is Trump is very transparent. And, he probably he likes being in the spotlight. But I would rather have somebody that has an ego and wants to be in the spotlight rather than somebody that hides everything and doesn't answer questions to the public or give the American people answers.
Yeah, if he's so transparent, where are the e-files?
Yeah, I'm not saying I agree with everything. I don't love everything about
if he's
Trump.
So transparent,
there's a lot of things I do not like about Trump.
Yeah, if he's so transparent, then why did he literally fire somebody for trying to put out job numbers? If he's so transparent,
I couldn't answer
if
that
he's
for
so
you.
transparent,
I don't know the answer to that.
If he's so transparent,
he is much more transparent than any president I have ever seen in my lifetime.
Sir, if he's so transparent, then why has every single news agency that isn't a direct, MAGA sycophant, right, been kicked out of the White House because Donald Trump doesn't want to answer or listen to any questions that might challenge anything that he says? If he's so transparent, then why won't he answer questions from just the regular media?
The reason for that is because there's been a lot of BS questions and actual hoaxes, like the very fine people. Have you seen how the media twisted that story? If anyone's listening and doesn't know about that,
hold on. Everybody here knows about this, okay? That is not my question. That had nothing to do with, sir. That had nothing to do with the questions. You are making the claim, sir.
From people like that,
yes,
that made up stories about you.
Yes, 100%.
And he still does.
First of all, no, he does, sir. Listen, Jesus fucking Christ, dude. You are the one making the claim that he is transparent. Okay, how is somebody that is transparent one that is not willing to answer questions from anybody but people on his own side?
I see him answering questions from all different types of news organizations.
He literally got taken to court for kicking the AP News out of the White House because they wouldn't refer to the Gulf of Mexico as the Gulf of America. He is literally, currently, the FBI is going through files from a known predator to take his name out.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird shit going on with that.
That's not weird. That's not transparent. He is hiding shit. He hides everything.
Shady.
He hides the job numbers. He hides the job numbers. He hides his crime. He's literally a convicted felon. okay, for falsifying business records, for trying to hide his business records. He's literally convicted for not being transparent.
Okay, well, let's just say he's not transparent about the Epstein files, but he is transparent about a lot of things. He's not perfect. And I don't really know about him not answering questions to certain people. I'm sure he doesn't want to answer questions from certain people because of what I said. They make drama stories up. Literally, they just make stories up. I've seen multiple times where they create a narrative that is absolutely false.
Sir, you can sit here and stick up for Donald Trump completely being non-transparent. That's whatever. If you want to sit here and defend Donald Trump for just being completely hidden and not transparent at all, and being afraid to talk to anyone, that's fine. That's fine. But don't sit here in the same breath and tell me he's transparent and then defend how he's not transparent. Okay?
No, you don't
get to do both. No, sir, you're either transparent or you're not. You don't get to be transparent on the things you want to be transparent on and completely not transparent on things you don't want to be transparent on. Being transparent means that you are open and honest about the things that are happening in the government, regardless of whether they're good, bad, or indifferent. It is transparency.
Buddy. He's a politician.
So
what do you think politicians do?
Not be transparent.
Like every other politician.
Fine, but then he's just like every other politician and he's not special and he's not transparent.
Okay. Well, I'd rather have that shady politician that isn't transparent about anything at least be transparent about a lot of things.
What has he been transparent about?
Rather than, huh?
What has he been transparent about?
Oh, God. You're going to make me try to... I mean, just watch the news. Look at all of...
Give me one thing that he's being transparent about.
One thing he's being transparent about. You put me on the spot. It's insane. You obviously watch the news conferences. I mean, he answers a lot of questions. He doesn't walk away like a Roomba. You know?
Awesome, sir. I'm still waiting for the one thing he's being transparent about.
The one thing he's been transparent about. Okay, let's see. You got me, bud. You got me. I can't think on the spot like that right now. I'm sure I could name a whole list of things. I mean, all you got to do is just watch his news conferences. He's very transparent about a lot of things. And yeah. So
cool,
like I
man.
said, I'm not a professional in this area like
professional,
you are,
sir.
you know?
You've been yelling about him being transparent for 5 whole minutes, and I just asked you to name one thing, and you couldn't do it. It's not being a professional.
I can. I mean, I'm sure I could do it.
I'm still waiting.
All right. What's one thing he's been transparent about? Let me think. Well, he tried to find a lot of corruption in government. That's one thing, and I truly believe he did. There's a lot of controversy on how he did it, but I do believe we spend way too much money for a bag of bolts.
Cool, sir.
All right,
if he's trying to find all this corruption in the government, then A, why has there not been one singular charge against a singular person in our government for corruption, for frauding out our government? And second of all, why are we now spending more money in our government now than we were before?
I couldn't answer that question.
Because he didn't find any fraud in the government, because he's not transparent, because he lied to your fucking face.
Okay, well, why are we paying $70,000 for a bag of bolts that costs $10?
Sir, why are you concerned about $70,000 when it literally costs millions of dollars every time Donald Trump goes golfing and he does it 4 times a month?
All right, I would like to bring up one more point, if that's okay.
Sure, why not?
Sure. So first, how do you feel about the illegal immigration that's been going on with our last president for the past 4 years when our border was flooded with these unknown people? How do you feel about that?
Yeah.
You think that's
okay? How you just asked me that question is exactly how all of the idiots that ask Trump questions.
But it's
no,
true,
sir. That's exactly how the idiots.
Facts.
Sir.
Have you seen Eagle Pass?
Awesome. Be quiet.
When it was flooded?
Be quiet. You asked me a question.
Okay.
Awesome. The same way that you just asked that question is the exact same way that the idiots that asked Donald Trump questions asked those questions. You didn't ask me.
Except mine isn't made up.
All right. Cool, sir. So what you didn't ask me is how I feel about the border. You said, how do you feel about the last administration and all the millions of migrants that have come across the border under sleepy Joe Biden, who acts like a Roomba? I don't know, I have to tell you, but he acts like a Roomba, and there's just millions of people coming across. That's how you ask the question,
Okay,
which is
sir.
not the
How do
correct
you
way to
feel
ask the
about the
question.
border?
No, sir, I don't need you to ask it a different way. I can respond to it, okay? And I can respond better than Donald Trump ever did, okay? Yes, we had an immigration problem under the Biden administration. We've actually had an immigration problem for about 20 years. The only difference between Biden and Trump is that Biden tried to fix it with legislation, okay? Multiple times he tried to fix it with legislation. He tried to add more Border Patrol agents to the border. He tried to add more border wall to the border. He tried to give the Border Patrol more tools and more technology in order to stop the border. He tried to add more judges in order to process asylum seekers faster. He tried to do all of that stuff, and he had a bill that was written by a Republican that had 98% support from Senate, and Donald Trump called the Senate floor and told them not to pass the bill. So if you want those things at the border and you don't have it, it's because Donald Trump stopped it.
But Donald Trump wasn't the president when all of this was happening.
Which makes it even worse that the Republicans listened to him and still stopped it.
Okay, well, he was not the president.
I am aware that he's not the president. He still called the Senate, and they still didn't pass the bill because of his phone call. Does it matter whether he's the president or not if he makes the phone call and they listen to it and don't pass the bill?
Well, you know Kamala Harris wanted that to happen. Do you really think that Biden...
Sir, I asked you a question.
To close the border?
I asked you a question. I asked you a question. I asked you a question.
Go ahead.
I asked you a question.
I missed it.
Does it matter whether Donald Trump was the president if he's the one who stopped it?
I don't believe he could have stopped it, though.
But he did, and there's at least 4 to 5 different Republican senators on record saying he did.
Why would he stop it?
Because he said that if the border was fixed under the Biden administration, then he couldn't run on the border against Joe Biden. And he needed the border to be bad so that he could tell everyone the border was bad, so he could say it was Biden's fault so he could beat him.
Do you think Joe Biden can call and make that happen? It's insane. If he wanted to?
Do I think Joe Biden could call Republicans and stop a bill? Probably not. Nor do I think Joe Biden would even try to do that because he actually believes in our system and believes in our democracy unlike Donald Trump.
What if he called the Democrats?
And told him to stop a bill? Again, Joe Biden wouldn't do that because he believes in democracy and believes in our constitutional republic. So why would he want to call the Senate to make a bill stop that would help Americans?
So it's Donald Trump's fault that the border was in a crisis when Joe Biden was president. Okay,
correct.
Yep, that makes a lot of sense.
Well, if you don't believe me, you can listen to Senator Lankford, Republican.
I heard about all that. But
so you're just willfully ignorant.
No, I'm not ignorant. I just don't believe.
No, you're willfully ignorant. Yeah, you're willfully ignorant.
Yeah, I'll look into it, but I don't.
Why didn't you look at it before now?
That just sounds ridiculous.
Yeah, it does sound ridiculous. But hey, you voted for him anyway.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I never said I voted for him.
Oh, you're just a simp?
I'm just saying I support a lot of things he's doing. I feel like the moral of everything I'm saying is I feel we're much safer than under somebody like Kamala or Joe Biden or the governor of Newsom. I feel like we're much safer under them. If you look at all of the Democrat-run cities versus Republican-run cities, I would feel much safer.
Awesome. What's a Republican-run city?
Huh?
What's a Republican-run city?
What's a Republican-run city? All right, a Republican-run state.
No, I didn't say state. What's a Republican-run city?
Tampa, Florida. I feel much safer in Tampa than I do in New York City.
Tampa, Florida. First of all, that's
Orlando.
What? Not even.
Yeah, there's
what are you naming cities that are? Is Tampa even
the
top?
The laws in those cities are so.
Is that
ridiculous.
even, sir?
In
is
Chicago,
Tampa, Florida?
They
sir,
ban gun. Like they have the strictest gun laws, but then again, there's how many fucking thousands of shootings a year?
You do realize that Chicago is not even.
cannot defend themselves.
Sir, You realize Chicago's not
Go
even
ahead.
top 10 in gun violence, right?
Well, what is? What's the number one?
I can pull it up, not a problem.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. You're
But
not going to be you're not going to
what-
be happy with this answer, by the way.
If it's not the top 10, it's okay. What's the answer?
Hold on. I got to pull it up. There it is. I'll put it on the screen for everybody. Number one
And by
is
the way,
number
I'm
one
not-
is
I'm
number
not a
one. Hold on,
full-
sir.
full
Number one
Repub-
is Gary,
Yeah, go ahead.
Indiana. Yep, that would be Republican run. Birmingham, Alabama. That would be Republican run. St. Louis,
Per capita?
yeah, per capita.
Per capita.
Yeah, Memphis,
yeah. I'm not
Tennessee.
talking about per capita.
Okay, so literally
but
what you're
sure.
saying is there's more crime because there's more people.
I mean, yeah, wouldn't that make sense? If there's more,
Yeah, it
people
would
committing
make sense,
crimes,
sir.
there's more
Therefore, it
crime.
doesn't matter who's running the fucking country. That would be like saying, like, right now, Donald Trump is a horrible fucking president because there's more gun violence because there's more murders in this country than there are in Poland.
Well, it's like you I don't know.
So you're
Throughout
saying
this
that the Polish
conversation,
president, sir, so you're saying that the Polish president is a much better president than Donald Trump because there's more homicides here than there are in Poland.
Say that again.
Sir, I don't know how to repeat this any better. So you're saying that Donald Trump is a worse
didn't
president than the leader of Poland because there's less unalivings in Poland.
Well, what's the population of Poland?
Why
mean,
does
if
it
you're
matter?
talking
You
about
don't
per
care
capita-
about. Sir, do you know what per capita means?
It's
Yeah, I
insane.
do.
What's it mean?
That's how I knew what you were looking up.
What's it mean?
No, I know what it means. I'm
What does
not
it
here-
mean?
This isn't a trivia show.
Well, it
I
is
know
now.
per
What does it
capita
mean?
means. Bro, I know what per capita means.
Sir,
That's
the
why
fact that
I
you
asked-
said what's the population of Poland shows that you do not.
Okay, well, teach me then. What is
No,
per
just
capita?
answer the question. What you just said you knew what it was. What's per capita mean?
Really? You're gonna ask me what's per capita?
Are you filibustering while you Google it?
Listen, everybody knows what per capita means.
He's literally Googling it right now. He's trying to filibuster
I'm
while
not
he
gonna-
Googles it.
I'm not gonna.
He's like, dude, per capita, bro. Like, bro, per capita. Like, dude, like everybody knows what dude, how would you even ask me?
Why would I bring
what per
why
capita?
would I
Hold
bring
on,
that up?
hold on. Sir, I can't even believe that you would ask me. First of all, I'm actually it's kind of crazy that you haven't even Googled it that fast. That's pretty wild.
I know it does have to do with the population. It's like the percentage of people in a population that commit crimes per capita.
Per capita has
Correct
nothing to
or
do with
no?
crime, right? It's based on per person. Usually
No,
it's
no,
based
it
off
has nothing to do
100,000.
with crime, but that's our topic.
No, you can
though.
have
I'm giving you an
income per
example.
capita. You can have all sorts of things per capita.
But am I wrong? That's what I
Kinda.
thought per capita is.
Yeah, it's just based off population, sir.
It's a percentage of a population. That's
No,
why
it's
I asked you
based
what's the
on population, sir. So if you have freaking 100 people, right? And there's 20 murders every year, okay? But then on another place you have 100,000 people and there's only 40, then your crime rate is better in the place that you have 100,000 even though there's more. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. So
Awesome.
If there is a
So when
state
we're
with
looking
one
at-
person
when we're
and he
looking at-
killed someone,
when we're
that's
looking at
100%
gun
per capita, you could say that's the most dangerous state, but there's only one person in it that committed that crime. So technically, it's 100% per capita.
Yeah, unfortunately,
correct?
when we talk about this, we're talking about it per 100,000 people. And we're talking about cities only over a certain population. Okay?
Well, yeah, I'm just giving you an example.
So anyways, Gary,
I mean,
Indiana, Birmingham, Alabama, Memphis, Tennessee, St. Louis, Missouri, Portsmouth, Virginia. Oh, we finally got to a state that has,
Virginia.
yeah, it took
Wow,
us
finally
5. It took
won.
us 5 to get down there. That's crazy.
I know. Holy shit.
Yeah, where's let's see. We can
My
go
point.
through we can go Camden, New Jersey, Baltimore, Maryland, Washington D.C., Cleveland, Kansas City, Detroit. I'm still waiting for Chicago. Milwaukee, Little Rock. That's pretty crazy.
That was one
Oakland,
example. I wasn't
Richmond,
saying
Atlanta,
Chicago's the worst.
Sir, I'm at 20. I still haven't gotten
But
to
my
Chicago
point
yet.
proven, almost all of those are Democrat-ran cities,
Sir,
though, are
there
they
is
not?
no Democrat-ran cities. Okay, gun laws are
Okay,
by
there isn't.
state.
LA is not, right?
Gun laws are by state, not by city.
Look at all the fentanyl zombies in LA.
Wow, that was a nice
You
pivot.
think?
Did you hurt your neck on that pivot?
I mean, well, we're talking about Democrat-ran cities.
No,
are we
we're
not?
talking about the gun rate in Chicago, actually.
Oh, gun rates too. Yeah. Okay.
Mm.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
insane.
Good talking to you. Like I said,
Wish I could say the same.
What's that?
Nothing. What was that?
No, I didn't hear what you just said.
Yeah, don't worry about it. What'd you have to say?
Oh, I was just saying it was good talking to you. I don't really have a super strong stance on this. I would vote for a Democrat if I liked him. I'm not on a team. I don't really pick teams. Usually the right or left, they have their own things. Leftist people, you know, you could you could almost spot them out. Like if they're wearing a mask, you could spot it out.
Like ICE?
Yeah. One thing I just don't
Hold on. So all of
right
ICE is
and
Democrats because they're wearing masks.
Yeah, but they're wearing it for a different reason.
Oh,
But
gotcha.
One thing I don't understand is this is on the right and left. Like right people are anti-abortion. They're more religion-based. Leftist people, it's like they're all on a team. They all have the same exact beliefs. I just don't understand.
I don't have beliefs,
If
the
you're on
same exact
left,
beliefs with.
You're for abortion. You're for all of these.
Nobody's for
you're for
abortion,
immigration.
sir.
It's
Nobody's
insane.
for freaking immigration. Literally, freaking for like historically, Democrats and people on the left have been more anti-immigration than people on the
Yep.
right. Okay,
Absolutely.
we are,
And it's
however,
switched.
way more for the humane treatment of people and for actually following the law. Let's be straight on that. And nobody's pro-abortion. People are pro-choice, allowing women to
if
make the
they're
decisions that
for
they have.
humane,
Sir,
why would they let
sir,
them be smuggled
sir,
in here
sir,
by the Mexicans?
I'm talking.
But why,
I
though?
am in the middle of a
That's a good
sentence.
point, though.
I am a middle
Yeah,
of
but
a
you've
sentence.
done that to me many times.
Well,
and I
sir,
just
you're
shut
not
up and let
saying
you
much,
talk.
okay? Yeah, you said you were saying your last thing, but regardless of any of that, you literally said Democrats the ones wearing masks, while literally you guys just made the largest law enforcement in the United States an entire group of people that wear masks for no reason. Okay,
Yeah,
so let's
but
stop
I'm
making
talking about a different reason. Different reason.
Exactly, sir, because you don't
Go
care
ahead.
about people whether people are wearing masks or not. You care whether the people wearing masks are on your side or not.
It's for the reason they're
See,
wearing
I
a mask.
have a problem with people, law enforcement agencies wearing masks, period. Regardless of whether they're doing something that I agree
Yeah,
with
I
or
agree.
not.
I
No,
agree
you
with
don't,
you.
because you literally are supporting Donald Trump making
No.
ICE the largest law enforcement agency in the fucking world.
Well, I don't know because I'm not on the side, like I said.
Yes,
I don't
you are.
agree with everything. But desperate measures need to be taken. I mean, look at all of the people. We don't even know who these people are. Do you think any
I don't
other
know who
country
you
in
are.
the world would let that happen other than Europe? And look at the protests that's going on.
Europe's not a country.
Sorry. And I'm sorry. In the UK, look at the protests that are going on over there right now because of the immigrants. But do you think any other country would allow that to happen? And
Any
which
other country would allow asylum? Yeah, asylum is allowed at a large rate. And if you remember things like we talked
asylum, but
about,
it's not, it's
sir, when we
false
talked, sir,
asylum. It's
when we,
false.
sir, when we talked about per
You know, I
capita,
was talking though, right?
I don't
Okay,
care.
good.
You said you were saying your last thing and you're still talking. You said, let me
Alright,
say one
sure.
last thing and you're still talking.
I'm not talking.
Okay. So I'm going to say one last thing and then you're going to go away.
Wait, hold
Cool.
on. Why do you invite people?
All right. Anyways, yes, like we talked about with per capita earlier. Okay. Yes, there are more people that come into this country. You know why?
It's insane.
Because there's more people in this country, because we have a giant country, because we have giant borders. Because we're such an awesome fucking country, more people want to be here. Okay, that's not surprising. Yes, can we have better immigration policies? Of course we could. Should we have better asylum laws? 100% we should. Should we have laws that allow for better pathways to citizenship and legal status? Of course we should. Should we have a pretty much revamp of our immigration system? Of course we should. Let's not change that, okay? From, oh, other countries shouldn't do that. Well, you know what other countries also don't have? Kids afraid to go to school without getting shot. Other countries also don't fucking have that. Okay? We should be more like those countries. Okay? Where's your fervor when it comes to those policies from other countries that we should be having in this country? That's what I thought. Anyways, I'm gonna run through a few super chats real quick, and then we'll move on to the next person. I really appreciate that. African Knight said that was the only 44-year-old alive for the Great Depression. Yo, that dude was 16 and 85 at the same time. Also, African Knight, make sure you follow him. He's a freaking great creator, does awesome stuff with there. Much better Trump impression than me, but mine's getting better. Mine is definitely getting better. So make sure you check him out. Thank you so much, African. I appreciate that. MKN said, so this color is okay with it. Oh, Jesus. I can't put that on there. But yeah, apparently he is, MKN, 100%. Toy said, where are the e-files, man? Yeah, so transparent, though. So transparent. Yo, make sure you guys hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications. Do it now. We do this every day but Friday. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you guys so much. Make sure you guys hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button. Think about becoming a member or gifting members too. That's a great way to be a part of the team. I really appreciate that. MKN said, I mean, he has been transparent about him being attracted to his own daughter. I don't read these before I put them on the screen, by the way. Sorry. I don't read these before I put them on the screen. I really should start doing that. That shit's fucking funny, though. MKN, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yeah, Trumpers are mostly trying to get to that little place in Arkansas, that little new all-white community. By the way, I have a video about that. You guys should totally watch it. And but really, for real, the dog was white, yo. The dog was white in the video. They tried to make, anyways. They're making an all-white community in Arkansas, and the dog is white. It's wild. Anyways, thank you, Velvet. I really appreciate that. Jeffrey, thank you so much. Trump loves the poorly educated, and it shows 100%. Heathen, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. I really appreciate that. It says, this guy wants to learn nothing. Not a damn thing. He didn't want to learn anything. He tried to backtrack on his Trump support by the end of it, too. I don't know if you guys heard that or not. He tried to backtrack really quickly. Thank you so much, Heathen. I really appreciate that. Bravo. So are you mad about Trump and the DC thing, like government taking over the government? I mean, I think we should all be somewhat upset about turning things into a police state, about having martial law. I think that the president of the United States coming in and trying to put the military into, little situations with our government, I think that's a bad thing for everybody. That's literally like introduction to fascism, right? That's horrible, right? And Bravo said, let's not forget DC is not a state. It's controlled by the government. Yes, it is a U.S. territory, which means that the president does have certain leeway in doing this. But just because the president can do this doesn't mean that he should do this. Let's be clear there, okay? Just because you can doesn't mean that you should. That's my argument. But thank you so much, Bravo. Jen says, keep handing out those L's to MAGA. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. I've been trying. And Jen had the 10 gifted earlier, too. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And Dave the Train Guys here said, my gosh, this caller, bro, has 2 brain cells fighting for 3rd place. 100%. He'd be in that last brain cells in the caboose for Dave the Train Guy. Yo, I need about 3 seconds. I'll be right back. 1 second. All right,
It's
sorry about that. I really
insane.
appreciate y'all. Guys had to give me a second there. All right, we're gonna move on to the next caller. Keep this thing going. I really appreciate y'all. Thank you guys so much for being here and for the support. Really does mean a lot to me. So I appreciate you guys, the super chats and all this sort of stuff, and for all the support, the new members that we have, the gifting, all sorts of stuff. I really, really do appreciate y'all. We're gonna move on to this next caller. And I can do it now a little easier, so I appreciate that. Phone lines are open. Josh, thank you so much for the super chat. Said, would be funny if that white dog identifies as a minority. that is kind of funny. Dude, y'all got to watch that video. It's too funny. It's too funny. Let's see if we can get 5 more gifted members over here on YouTube before the night's over. That'd be awesome. I really appreciate y'all. I think somebody besides Jen can do it too. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Hello, how are you?
Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great. How old are you?
I am 16.
Sorry, you have to be 18 to be on the live. I appreciate you. Hello, how are you?
Hi.
Hi, how old are you?
I'm 18,
Awesome. What year were you born?
2006.
No, I don't believe you. Hello, how are you?
Hello.
Hi, how old are you?
I'm 22.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
I do, to some extent.
Awesome. Why is that?
I believe his management of the economy has been better than alternatives. However, I will acknowledge it has not been perfect.
Not been perfect. It hasn't even been good.
I'd say it's been better than Biden. I will acknowledge there's been inflation. However, Biden's economic policies introduced significantly more inflation.
Which policy?
He allowed Chinese trade, which then allowed them to purchase more of our currency, increasing inflation.
Yeah, which policy was that?
Okay. I'm not going to state a specific policy because I don't keep up with names of policies. However, I do know that inflation was significantly higher under Biden than it has been
Yeah,
under
awesome,
Trump.
sir. I don't need the name of the policy. Give me the details of the policy, like what was actually passed under the Biden administration that caused that. Just any type of policy, like information. I can pull up the policy, or I probably honestly know it. So,
So he had global trade policies that were more invitational to foreign powers purchasing our currency, as well as to introduce more of their products into our economy or into our
yeah, I know he
trade
didn't.
system. You're saying he didn't allow product dumping?
I'm saying he didn't have policy that
Major-
allowed for product dumping.
Major retailers like Temu opened during the Biden administration.
Yeah, I said he didn't have policy that caused that.
Okay, so I'll, I guess, pivot my argument to the fact that he did not have counter policies to this, when historically there have been policies related to product dumping to
Awesome.
prevent Chinese or foreign manufactured goods from flooding our market and then causing inflation because American manufacturers couldn't compete on price.
Awesome. So, and since he didn't have those policies, he didn't stop those policies. So those policies came from before him. So therefore they came under the Trump administration.
I wouldn't say that either because it's possible they came under Obama or any other.
So Donald Trump
before
didn't
then.
have counter policies to stop him.
Temu began under the Biden administration.
Gotcha. So you blame Biden for not having counter policies, but you don't blame Trump for not having counter policies.
What I'm saying is that major retailers like Temu came out during the Biden administration, and he took no action to prevent them from becoming the superpower in the United States that they have become today.
Okay. And what policy has Donald Trump done to do that?
He hasn't instituted one either.
Gotcha.
which
So
is
what's your
one
point?
of my disappointments with him. So here's another thing with Trump is he introduced tax policies that actually were beneficial to American people.
Like what?
A lot of Democrats will argue his 2017 tax plan.
Man, how was that beneficial to the American people?
It reduced tax amounts and increased income thresholds for the percentage of tax that American people paid.
Yeah,
people
the
working
average
in America,
American in
they
the
don't
United
necessarily
States.
have to be citizens.
Yeah, the average American in the United States saw a reduction in their tax benefit from between 1% and 2%, while the average freaking person in the upper class saw 14 to 20%. Okay, so he really reduced taxes for the rich, But he gave a temporary tax cut, which he, threw some crumbs off the table for the middle class. And they were temporary. We know they were temporary because he had to extend them in the big, beautiful bill.
Yes, I know that they were temporary, and I know that he extended them.
But he gave permanent tax cuts to rich people.
About his alternative fuel taxes as well. I believe that increasing fuel taxes or not necessarily instituting the $100 tax on hybrid or electric vehicle drivers is actually counterproductive to economic policies, or not economic, environmental policies. I apologize.
What?
And I know that Biden introduced the Green New Deal, however, as an infrastructure bill that included many things that were not infrastructure related.
First of all, the Green New Deal was not an infrastructure bill. The infrastructure bill was an infrastructure bill. The Green New Deal never passed, so I don't know why we're talking about it unless we're going to talk about every single bill that's never passed by a president. And what thing about the infrastructure bill was not infrastructure?
I'm sorry?
You want me to repeat that? Pay attention. The Green New Deal was not an infrastructure. The Green
being disrespectful with me.
Okay, and I don't appreciate you not listening when I speak. The Green New Deal was not an infrastructure bill. I'm trying to explain it to you again, and you're talking. The Green New Deal was not an infrastructure bill. The Green New Deal was never passed, so I don't really give a shit about that unless we're going to talk about every bill under a president that was never passed. Okay, the infrastructure bill was an infrastructure bill, and the infrastructure bill was the largest infrastructure bill that was passed in the U.S. history. So what part of the infrastructure bill was not infrastructure?
There were several things in there, such as diversity, equity, and inclusion grants.
There was diversity and equity inclusion grants. Where were those at?
Those were instituted for the construction of the infrastructure. They instituted grants for diversity, equity, and inclusion hiring practices.
Diversity, equity, inclusion is not a hiring practice.
It is.
It is not.
It is.
No, it is not. It's a human relations policy, not a hiring policy.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion employers or participative employers particularly seek diverse or ethnically diverse groups of people for hiring that are equally qualified as compared to cis white males.
As opposed to cis white males? No, cis white males are part of DEIA. You know who the number one benefactor of DEIA is in this country?
I would imagine African American.
Wrong. It's white women.
It's insane.
You know who number two is?
With white men, though.
You know what number two is?
Go ahead.
Veterans. Yeah, because what people forget about is the DEIA part, right? A, including accessibility, and a lot of people leave the military with some type of disability rating, and so giving, making sure that they are more accessible and have the right things in order to do their job, or that they have the ability to be held at the same standard of those that that don't have the same disability rating is actually very important. So, do you,
I'll agree the accessibility factor is important. As somebody who has autism, I have benefited from having accessible work hiring practices and then retention practices as well. However, my focus is more on the preferential treatment that's given in hiring practices to diverse or ethnically diverse groups.
Yeah, first of all,
qualified people.
Yeah, what's the first what's the first letter of DEIA? DEIA, yeah. Diversity, right? Equity, inclusion. Which one of those gives preferential treatment?
Employers receive tax benefits for participating in DEI hiring practices. In order to prove that they participate in them, they hire more candidates.
They hire diverse candidates. It's not preferential treatment. That is equity.
That's the factor that plays into it. However, I argue that they tend to hire more people from those backgrounds.
Awesome. Do you
even
approve
if
of
they
that?
have, I won't say I disagree that it's necessary to have people and give equal opportunity to people in employment.
Mhm.
However, when there are equally qualified people, I feel like that shouldn't be a factor that's considered whether or not they're from a diverse ethnic background.
Awesome. And can you
because
show
I
me where it was
consider that all
considered?
people are the same. I'm sorry?
Can you show me where it was considered?
Where what was considered?
Oh, where somebody's DEIA, whether their diversity, equity, or inclusion or accessibility was considered in those hiring practices.
I've experienced it myself.
And that your anecdotal evidence doesn't really mean much to me. Can you please explain to me where that was actually done due to a Biden policy, an infrastructure Biden policy that actually increased freaking, hiring practices based off of equity or inclusion, and which again, you would probably most likely find white women, which would probably be the most likely, thing. I guess accessibility, I guess you probably could have, received some type of, treatment based off of your accessibility needed based off of, of your, self-diagnosed autism or, self-claiming
I'm not
autism.
self-diagnosed.
I corrected
I've actually-
myself. Chill the fuck out, dude. Anyways, what I said was freaking self-claiming freaking autism, right? So there was probably some type of accessibility in which you have experienced due to that. And it's just kind of weird that you're fighting against it.
Well, I've actually never heard of it referred to as an accessibility hiring practice.
Because
So
it's not a
that's
hiring
something new to me.
practice. Because it's not a hiring practice.
Then what is it?
A human relations policy, which I've already stated twice. It's DEIA. It's not just DEI. It's DEIA, accessibility.
So if it's truthfully DEIA, how often does that actually pop up in the media or in legislation compared to the reference of DEI?
Yeah, because if they said DEIA, then they would have to, because if right-wing media said DEIA, then they would have to explain what A is, which is accessibility, and accessibility is for veterans mostly in this country. And so right-wing media would have to somehow scream and yell on television about how much they hate veterans, which I don't think would go over very well.
I don't actually follow right-wing media. Most news sources that are pushed through Google and Bing are left-wing controlled. However, I tend not to follow media for the most part because I feel that following the toxic stories that go back and forth is less beneficial for my mental health than seeing the results of something that actually happened and then researching the reason as to why that result happened.
Right, Kayla? Yeah, it sounds good, man.
It's insane.
Cool. So are we getting anywhere to the point of something here? Because I feel like we're not talking about anything anymore.
So my point was that his infrastructure bill, whatever it was labeled as, did include DEI grants for the hiring practices used for this infrastructure construction. He also canceled out very important infrastructure which caused inflation, such as Keystone XL.
He did not cancel out Keystone XL.
He signed an executive order that
ended the permits that the Supreme Court said 6 months earlier they couldn't use.
I'm sorry?
He signed an executive order ending the permits that the Supreme Court said 6 months earlier they couldn't use.
Okay.
The Supreme Court ended the Keystone XL pipeline 6 months prior.
I've never heard that, but I will go ahead and believe what you're saying here. Since you spend your days arguing about politics, I will assume you're more educated on the specifics behind it than I am.
No problem. I'll pull up an article for everyone else while we're there where the Supreme Court deals below the Keystone XL pipeline. And let's also be very, very clear that while that Keystone XL pipeline did create some temporary jobs as far as the building, the entire running of the Keystone XL pipeline would have been about 50 people, not all of which were even in the United States. So most of them would have been in Canada because it was a Canadian pipeline, right? Because the pipeline was being built by TransCanada, right? And it didn't produce American oil. It was Canadian oil that was being transferred through the United States towards the Gulf of Mexico. So the pipeline would not have created long-term jobs, would not have created super well-paying jobs, would not have had anything to do with U.S. oil. And on top of all of that, it was stopped by the U.S. Supreme Court during Donald Trump's presidency.
Okay, so my point with that inflationary aspect was not about the jobs that it may have created. It was actually about the fact that oil became less accessible due to the higher transportation costs associated with oil, which then were absorbed by companies realizing higher costs of transportation for both their products and their deliveries of their sales, which then was absorbed by consumers. It caused consumer price inflation because producers will never absorb the cost of an increased cost. They're going to pass it on.
You are correct. Two
It's the
things.
same thing
One,
they're doing
the
with
Keystone
tariffs.
XL pipeline, again, wasn't moving U.S. oil, so it had nothing to do with that. Second of all, it was an oil called tar sands oil. And tar sands oil is not normally refined into any type of oil that could be used to fuel your car or engines because it's too expensive to refine. It's made for use for plastics, plastic production for the most part. So the Keystone XL pipeline had nothing to do whatsoever with gas prices in the United States. Second of all, the reason why gas prices were so high in the United States is because we had a reduction of about 10 million barrels a day of oil across the world, okay, because of the OPEC Plus deal. The OPEC Plus deal with Donald Trump literally coordinated and bragged about, which didn't end until the end of 2022. Why am I? Excuse me, I'm sorry. To the end of 2022, right? So we had a reduction of oil across the entire world all the way until the end of 2022, which again, you're right, did raise inflation quite a bit across the United States. But not only was that not Joe Biden, it was Donald Trump, and he brags about it.
Okay, so what was the media article about Joe Biden selling off all of our oil reserves to Russia?
He didn't sell off our oil reserves to Russia. We used our oil reserves because what's the point of our oil reserves?
To prevent us from running out of oil.
It's to be used in an emergency situation, and we were in an emergency situation due to the OPEC Plus deal, which Donald Trump signed because we didn't have enough oil in this country. So we used our strategic reserves in order to pump oil back into the United States in order to help keep oil prices from going through the entire freaking roof.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we didn't sell off our oil reserves. We used our oil reserves. And then we refilled our oil reserves once the OPEC Plus deal, which again, Donald Trump coordinated. The second that was up, we refilled our oil reserves and made sure our strategic reserves were good.
Okay. I can acknowledge that then. So I guess one final point I have to make is our support of the Ukrainian war. Instead of sending over or supporting militaristically, why did we not negotiate for a peaceful resolution instead of participating in warmongering and actual military events?
Yeah, so we 100% did, right? We 100% did try to freaking negotiate for peace all the way through the Biden administration. The difference is that while Joe Biden also understood the fact that there was not going to be any peace that could be, negotiated with if Russia just runs over Ukraine, which was what their entire purpose was to begin with. We needed to make sure that Ukraine could support themselves because we couldn't make sure that there was a sovereign state of Ukraine if there was no Ukraine. If we just completely stopped funding them whatsoever, then Russia would have just ran through the Ukraine and there wouldn't have been a reason for a peace deal because there wouldn't have needed to be a peace because Russia would just have the whole country because they wouldn't have anything to shoot back at. Right. So protecting the sovereignty of Ukraine starts there. And then from that point, because once you actually have some type of stalemate due to military support, then you can move forward and actually work towards a peace deal.
So why does that responsibility fall on the United States when there's much closer allies?
Because we signed at least like 3 different deals that said we would support them.
But what did the European Union do?
Also support them?
Not to the same extent that the United States did.
You're right. They did it more.
I don't believe so.
Well, you'd be wrong then.
We sent over, I believe, $150 billion in aid.
Well, in cash, we sent less than $100 billion. We sent more than that in old military equipment, mostly Cold War era equipment, which again we just got out of our stockpiles and sent over to them, and then allowed us to be able to build new weapons, right, and to be able to put those in our stockpiles. So it not only gave our troops better weapons if we were to ever fight a war, which, God forbid that we do, but we get closer every day. But he gave our troops better weapons in our stockpiles in order to do that. Also, spurred our military industrial complex, which helps our economy and also helps to employ a lot of veterans in the United States, because a lot of veterans work within the military industrial complex.
I think investment in the military is more inflationary than anything.
It can be.
Most of military training is wasting equipment and rounds of ammunition for events that might happen. They could be using reusable solutions such as blank rounds or simulations rather than actual ammunition that.
Well, sir, those are used too. Those are all used. The military uses all of that stuff, right? They use live rounds, they use blank rounds, they use all sorts of different types of training. They use simulations. They use, they're using virtual reality and simulators and all sorts of shit now. Okay. But at a certain point, you gotta let a round out of a weapon. And you sure as hell don't want your military going into a war when they've never shot the thing that they're supposed to be shooting.
I can appreciate that. However, I believe the extent at which we invest into live rounds is far beyond what we need to. Another caller mentioned the $70,000 bags of bearings that the Air Force pays for that actually cost $180.
Yeah, sir. I'm not saying that the United States military is the most perfect freaking, most perfect non-wasteful organization in the world. Not saying that. The problem is that Donald Trump is not forcing them to actually pass an audit. Actually, he's just giving them more money when they haven't passed an audit in 2 decades. So if your problem is that the military is spending too much money, then Donald Trump isn't doing anything to help that. So
I will acknowledge that he increased the budget for the military to over $2 trillion.
That's not correct.
I found very unnecessary, and that was like
$1 trillion next year.
Well,
$1 trillion next year.
It's only $1 trillion.
Yeah. But anyways, I'm getting really bored with this conversation, so I'm going to move on to the next person. But I do appreciate you coming up. Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Have a good one. Sorry, I was just getting bored. There's only so many times, only so many wrongs as I can get before I'm just like, I get it, but I'm not just gonna sit here and be a civics teacher. Kayla, thank you so much for the $5. Says maybe he didn't get his job because he wasn't qualified, but we like merit-based practices. Exactly, lest they help us. I think that's what the rest of that says. I can't see it. Oh goodness. And Sierra, thank you so much for the $25. Says today's my birthday and I wanted to spread some love. I just turned. Why can't I see the rest of it? It says I can't read the rest of it. But happy birthday. Happy birthday. Sierra, right? I think that's what. No, that's not right. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Caera. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And we're going to hit a couple super chats real quick. Zachary says, I don't appreciate your tone or attitude. Well, I don't care. Make sure to hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate that. Adventures of Peck said, we got the guy from Fortnite yapping about Donald Trump before GTA. For real. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. EJ said, he made my brain hurt 100%. It was just, I don't know. The pace was just, I was kind of losing it there. I was just kind of, sorry. The pace was just so slow. Anyways, and Snowy Weave, thank you so much for the $50 on a $50 super chat. I really appreciate that. So I love what you do. May you change many minds, brother. I massively dislike Trump and his supporters. You and me both. Thank you for that. I really appreciate that. Yeah. I don't know if I change many minds. I think I do. But I at least change some minds. That's for damn sure. I may not change many, but I do change some. And some is pretty good. Some is pretty good. I'm not mad about some. All right, y'all. Make sure y'all hit that follow button, that subscribe button if you haven't already. I really, really appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for being here. I am going to call tonight because I am trying to get down to only doing 2 hours on weekdays. I'm trying really hard. But there might be a schedule change coming up soon, too. Because I really want to start taking Sundays off, too. I might start taking Fridays and Sundays off. We'll see what's up. But I'll let you guys know. Make sure y'all join the Discord. We do have the Discord. And make sure if you're a sub or a member, that you let us know when you join the Discord so we can put you in the right channels for that. Besides that, I will be back on tomorrow night at 7 p.m. I really appreciate you guys. Check out my videos if you guys get a second.
Insane.
I really appreciate that. Check out my videos if you get a second to do so. It does help, help my algorithm and all that sort of stuff. So please do that. I really appreciate that. Hope you all have a wonderful night. And I love y'all. All right.